We are once again with these two teams. Clubhouse first up. Time has already been dwindled down. This has been a successful round from Shopify, but now it comes down to actually winning your fights, of which Canadian could not. Here comes the pressure towards Red Stairs as well. Through side Zera, Rexon just goes for a walk and gets punished. That was not the position all the time to send in towards CCTV. As Zambi going for the flank, basically no one on site except for Grixer, and he's
two players. Shopify Rebellion stacked up and ready to rock and roll. Who's going to be the first catch? There's the spray down onto one. The Revenge is going to start bleeding its way around, but no, somehow Grixer in the back of our mind gets one, and Ambi with the pointed towards the approach here. They know Pikes is the story and the answer, but they can't quite get close enough. Handy locks down Surf on the side. They've got to apply pressure somewhere else. There is a body going deep, and Ambi gets one over the top. He's fighting for his life. He's looking for the next, but it's Vidaking and Souls that bring us into the 2 versus 2. Still caught out in it. Grixer's trying to dig his way past the A-case on the back end of it, but now it's 2 separate 1 versus 1s. The first one to win is probably going to take the round, but there's only 10 seconds, so the pressure here is on Shopify. They're trying to swing their way round, but 6 seconds here. Vidaking gets a huge swing. That's the kit. That's the drop. That's the sprint for Vidaking.
Soul starting to move around, play some off-angle positions. I like that position. Headshot swing onto Ambi, essentially covering 2 positions with 1 spot. Souls has played that perfectly. Does lose his life though, as Shopify actually find 2 in quick succession, and with that, suddenly the door opens up for them.
They have the ping on the player underneath. They know there's only 2 inside the site, and they're in. Now they can try and get themselves off to the races and get the plant. They're on the bulletproof bed, but the bullets swing right their way across. Grixer immediately gets that response towards Vidaking, but 10 heavy seconds start to tick, and Handy ticks them right both off on the kitchen hatch. But what are they cooking up? An Oster shield drops. They're going to get themselves deployed. It'll only take 1 explosive to stop it. They're tucked around the back. The cover's on the kitchen hatch, and Handy does get 1, but they're not quite confident enough to go for the plant. It's traded back and forth on towards Dirt, and Canadian, he's tucked, waiting, technically. A 3 versus 3 because Cyber is in no man's land. There's the attempt on the plant, and an attempt to try and kill somebody that's whiffed and missed, and a post-plant situation with vertical control. Sure, Vidaking has thrown himself in and got themselves locked down. They might even be able to get Cyber back up, which they're going to do right now, so it's a 4 versus 2. But as long as they've got vertical here, as long as they have this position, FaZe have to clean it out. They're going to have to send 2 bodies up. Grixer, more than ready for the first engagement. Deep across the bar, serving up pain. Now with 3 versus 2, 20 seconds. Again, 7 of that has to be the defuse, so they've only really got a pocket full to work with. They're playing against
on the right side.
They're slipped around. There's the take, there's the drop. There's only a little bit left in it now. You've just got to hold it, but it's 1. They're in and they're off to the races. Ambi, he wants to swing and put the pressure on.
They don't even know.
It's the second. He can't quite find it. But now, the sort of
way in. Canadian through rafters with the kit, and now it's all about getting it down successfully. Oh, a shot from Vidaking though onto Grixer. Side swipes his head, and suddenly now Canadian's entry into the site not going to be that easy.
Absolutely massive take. Doesn't get the second though. Look at the health on Canadian. He's a sliver, and they know they've got to try and push right now because it's the only time. It's a 2 versus 1. Under and over. There's the cover from the glass. But 14 seconds. A sliver of a pellet will be the end of it. Can they try and get themselves?
They're not sure where he is.
9 seconds. We are ticking our way once again towards the end. He's got to try and cross the divide.
He got off the
Why did you get off the block, Canadian? Hold back on. He's down. No.
What?
Unbelievable, Canadian.
The attack of Shopify, and they are well prepped to try and take this map out. But Ambi, double headshot out of nowhere, and suddenly changes the course of this round and potentially the map until he's traded by Cyber. 2v2 into the final 20 seconds of regulation.
Barely any help from the side of Canadian and Surf, and Canadian goes down. Surf, he's got to try and get himself past them first. He does. He slipped himself on towards the back end of the dining table, and he's going to hold the plant for now, but with 10 seconds, they're just spraying themselves. Here's a man who holds his composure. Harris Cyber, though. That's what.
If you want to find weaknesses within the FaZe
roster. A couple more. They have the pressure here. They're just going to pop open the Goyo canister as Connector and Electric starts to become a little bit more of a danger point. There gets Surf, 1 more for his tally, and Vidaking does find 1 back. The second player on FaZe to actually find a kill in the 4th round. But 30 seconds. Look on the distance of the screen. Grixer, he's rotating his way around on towards blue. He's going to try and sneak in the back door as they smash their way towards the mirror window. Ambi tears it and they just hop their way in. What are you doing? The tornado that blows through the site itself. Souls a sliver, but not for very long. 4.
Then they would have had too much time for Shopify. So they contested. Why do they do that? Because of the time factor. But then by contesting, guess what? Then you lose a player. Now, was this a misthrown onto KDS? I think the answer to that might be a resounding yes. Ambi will lose his life, becomes a 2v2. Vidiking makes his way back up cargo. KDS low on health, losing his life to Rexon, and all down to Vidiking in a 1v2.
Now, we have seen Vidiking win a 1 versus 2 before, but look at this. The rotate round on towards the back of the site, the focus. They're going for the plant on towards default. Do they know where he is?
Is it the call? Oh, no,
Is
out
the
the open.
answer? Is he going to pull off the second magic trick in a row? They've planted on a different box. The approach.
Oh, no.
Rexon, you've got to pop your way around potentially. No, he's sticking it. No, he's caught Vidiking.
Go towards rafters, you want to go electrical, you can even go blue. You can only be in one spot at a time, so it comes down to Shopify. They need to push and be aggressive where the clash is not.
Well, this is where the clash is going to be drawn towards Canadian. He's on the Blackbeard, making as much noise as possible, trying to force them out towards IT, which isn't a position they can take. Smashes the mirror window, drops the eye in 50 seconds with a body advantage. They may be able to start trying to make things work, but Surf, he is the sort of response to the bait. They want the clash to swing a little bit wide, but they're not quite on the hook yet. You're still trying to find the fight. There's the hop over the top, but they were more than ready for it. Cyber finally finds his first bit of blood in this showdown so far. 30 seconds. You can see KDS is trying to eye up the same engagement, but he tucks himself a little bit further around because he doesn't want to give them the free, easy fight in the body. 2 are here, and the Blackbeard is going to be the lead on through. It was almost a moment, but he's caught on the side. There's the pick back up. Will a player go for the drop, the flash, electrocutes, but over the shoulder, the shimmy and the shake, and they're rocked right out of place. 10 seconds, though. At this point, they've got to try and find their way through, but Cyber quickly dips back round. You're charging at somebody that is currently stunned. You've got to try and get the knockdown. They're looking for the second fight with a shield.
Oh my God.
It's back and forth, but not quite. FaZe slowed them down a lot compared to the previous round. Here, you know, they might suffer the same things. It is a little bit more of a touch-and-go site that Shopify could have gone anywhere. They've opted to try and hit their tertiary. The break comes all the way through, cuts their way right across. There's one. The second is going to be picked up by the Deimos, and FaZe just absolutely clear their way through into the site and say, this thing that you got, oh no, it's ours now. This is FaZe's territory. Pretty deep behind enemy territory, and which route he picks is the most important. There's 2 players this way.
Oh my
There's
goodness.
one. Does he know about the second?
Oh, he didn't.
Oh, he doesn't need to, but he's able to somehow escape the play behind it. The wall behind him is solid. And what a sneaky little moment, but again, more attention. Now, Canadian is stuck. There is no way out, but this ready C4 is if they drop, they'll blow down the castle and take the player out on the other side. But at this point, FaZe, look at them. All 3 remaining players are laser focused on a single hatch drop. They're sending it.
Wait, does
they
he know?
haven't heard
Does he know?
it. He does know, and he gets it. Canadian swings around, another goo mine for the trouble. All right, send the next one here. Handy and Souls, what do you do? It's a 4 versus 2, less than 40 seconds. They now have a crossfire because the castle is gone as well. The smoke canister, I believe, pops off. They're going to drop in the back of it. Canadian takes a lot of damage swinging it. There's the motion, but there's the cover. They get 1 kill. Now they've got to try and get the rest with 20 seconds left. At this point, the diffuser's still at least close to them. The castle's going to slow them down a bit. They're having to deploy a hard breach charge. Precious time taken away, and a bulletproof giving the read on everything. The impact EMP just to stop it. Give themselves a second.
Nicely done.
Shopify! Perfectly illustrated, but it's a risky fight you want to take, but you win it out. Rexon instantly pivots the 180 down towards the bottom, but the plant is attempting to be secured. They're missing the shots in the smoke. FaZe, full faith in the cover, and the man's reloading. The man can't get it, but Ambi does. Souls gets it, but it's a post-plant situation. So Cyber sneaks his way in with Ambi getting Vidiking. It just takes 1 moment, 1 player, 1 drop, and there's some of the vertical, and now they've got the overwatch on towards the kid itself. They're not going to be able to defuse it without getting this player out, and the blue pinch on the other side. It's surrounded. Canadian gets Cyber. There's the rotate round. There's the play back on. There it is. Shopify Rebellion secure it.
Personally, I don't think so. I like the black
split. They're going for the plant itself. They're going to see if they can try and stop it by spraying through, but the Echo drone is actually the difference maker right now. You can see the slow approach of the Nook is blinded out. Vidiking takes the drop on the top of Rexon now, and it makes things a little bit more possible for the plant. Canadian dips his toes in towards the fight on green. They pull themselves back in. They're going to attempt the plant once again, and now the pressure is stepped up right towards the door itself. They're not able to get it. It's a post-plant situation. 7 players still stood. The drop down on towards goal, but it's instantly traded out from the back of the garage on the far side. 36 seconds ticks away, but there's a player all the way on the top floor. Surf, he found himself new ground, new territory. He's going to try and retake and find the fights above, but the Canadian trying to dip himself inside the site as well. Look how little FaZe are giving them. They know the approach, they know the positions. He's going to hold for the long arm. He takes the drop. It was questioned before, but now there's the trade out.
Way.
Surf
No way.
spins in a circle and sends them out of there. On throwing themselves out the window as of yet. Surf, the hero of the last time round, is the first to be removed. There's no real location for him to sort of do the dip down and tuck around that he played so masterfully before the blinds. Towards the side of Banana here at the top of the spiral stairs, but it's the control over White that doesn't actually go their way. There's some important cover. There's 2 kills that come through from the side of Shopify, but FaZe, they bleed their way in towards the site, and they have a single player behind them. KDS, he's going to stick it. He's going to trust that Handy has the lockdown. Where's the camera? It doesn't connect to the roof, but the smoke canister does get the kill. It's now a 1 versus 2 technically. And get through to getting the player back up. He's downed outside. How aware are they? The shotgun pellets are peppering and putting the pressure on. But Hamby, he wants to play against the kid itself. Handy, he's gone the long way round. He's going to see if he can get it. Are we going to see the second hold? Hold your nerve. Hold that round, Shopify.
Out of elevator goes Surf over towards Vault. Maybe anticipating that FaZe are going to go for a bit of a different angle of attack. They do lose Canadian. That's a big power kill. The smokes, the gas babes, they're off the board. With the final 40 seconds remaining, it does open things up for Shopify.
There's the spray for FaZe. On towards the drop there, but they're inside the site. They've screamed their way across a 4 versus 3 and entirely taken them a bit by surprise, but back and forth still traded out. Grixer and Rexon both stuck in gold. Wants to swap to the Echo drone as the plant is being secured. Can it make it in time? It's up. Oh, it gets the threaded needle, finds the drop, and the Echo drone rotates around towards the bottom of green, but the pressure, the attention from Rexon, the second hit misses. It's a post plant. And now a 3 versus 1. The Echo trying his best to get the lock in here. Couldn't quite stop the second plant attempt and gets locked in. 4-2. I guess with open, if you're looking at quad wall, you sort of need it. Sometimes you'll have Thermite instead, but it's the pressure on towards the window seems to be the first approach. Look at Canadian, the blitz. Can't quite get himself. Round the corner, the cover is there from Ambi. They're ready to start making their way inside. There's the very shaky fight and a team kill. Oh no, a misinput. Souls.
Well, Viniking's down, so it's not as bad as it may seem immediately. 2v3 depends on if Viniking can get back up. No, of course not. Finished off by Surf. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. 35 seconds left. So much to do for Surf and Grixer. Could they pull off a very heroic round?
Wow, it's even more of a meteoric challenge at this point. He knows they're inside tellers, but the tale being told is that we're moving on to the next. Actually, a C4, potentially just impacts to get the end of it. The Keeper Barricades can try and build their way back in. And there's the first pop of smokes, and Ambi's going to use that as his way to thread himself through the head. Looks for the second, can't find it on the long desk, but they're inside the building, inside the site, and tucking themselves close here. Caught out, but it's Surf.
Canadian,
it has the cover in handy. You're not really sure what's going on. Surf has to swing himself in. They were trying to go for a bit of a bait and a play, but through it all, it was red. FaZe.
Going into the final 30 seconds. Yes, it's 4v4, but the clash is a big part of the round for FaZe, and they no longer have it. There's the push through from Rexon towards Garage. They do lose Surf to Handy. Big kill. And suddenly the advantage back over to FaZe.
It's late, 15 seconds, and they're just trying to get some modicum of control here over the side. A lot of damage onto KDS, and Canadian pops 1, but KDS and Cyber drive themselves right back in. It is just Canadian in the middle of no man's land. FaZe, they tie us right back up.
There's the chance. It's a miss. That was an opportunity for Cyber and for FaZe to get on the board nice and early. Handy does so anyway, dealing with Brexton, who has struggled since Rehost, and it's a Cyber that goes wandering, losing his life in the vigil shut down. 4 versus 4.
They didn't quite know about the player above. The blinds come out, and now they think they've got control of square. But this, the slow, steady rotate underneath the fight on towards the door. They don't know, but they still win it out. Great motion there from Surf. You could see he wasn't quite sure on the direct location of the player. Now, with the man advantage in a minute 20, they still have to try and find their way into the site. They are blinded out. And there's Ambi shooting a blinder across the back end. Another Candela. Don't need to cook it. It's rolling to where it needs to be, opening up the little sight line on towards the rotate.
What is that? That's a pixel. Ambi should be asking for a refund. Surely they don't lose the round off of a shot like that. And Surf's going to get brought back up, though, at the very least, to make it still a player advantage for Shopify. And they've got 50 seconds, but Ambi would be ropeable to lose his life in that manner. What can Souls and KDS do? It's another one from KDS. Now down to a 2v2. Old head Canadian on the Montang has clutched up a couple of times in this series. Will need to do so once again.
Currently a 2 versus 1 as the man's going for the plant, but they're not going to put the pressure on. Instead, they use the time to rotate, and there's the reveal of the position and the player. But look at the aggression right up towards the Monty. Now it's a 2 versus 1. Canadian. He knows he's in a tight spot, but he can't make it happen. Souls and KDS.
How have they lost that round? It's just the go time, and he finds himself over towards the bomb chassis. Into CO. Oh, he's shot in the back by Cyber. No. And with that, FaZe have taken away the win condition for Shopify Rebellion. It feels like Ambi's got a lot to do, pushing through Janitor. This young star with a chance to shine at the 6th Invitational. Surf alongside him like Robin to his own Batman. Into the flames he goes, but up in flames may go Shopify. If he can't close it out on the diffuser, he goes to stick it. Vinicking with 2, then 3, and just like that, it's all down to Ambi in a 1 versus 4. Shut down by Souls. FaZe will take down Shopify Rebellion.